You're listening to the Paracasual Destiny Podcast, Episode 40. Well, a big warm welcome to everyone, and thanks for tuning in. We broadcast live every other Saturday at 7 p.m., and you can find the archived audio wherever you get your favorite podcasts from. And we're going to be your new favorite. That's right. I'm Soul Time, and I'm joined by Romance Girl. Are you there, Romance Girl?
Hello.
Hi. Welcome. And Greenstego, of course. Greenstego.
Evening, y'all.
Good evening. And last but not least, Sally Bug.
Hello, all.
Hey, Sally Bug. Yeah, I kind of am well rested and in a different state of mind because we have a new time and a slightly different format coming your way to accommodate our adult schedules. We are now experimenting with broadcasting at 7 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. That would be 6 p.m. for our friends in Central Time. That's 5 p.m. Bungie time or Pacific time. And 10 p.m. to our good friends in the UK and other parts of Europe that align with that time zone.
Actually, I think it would be 4 p.m. on the West Coast. I think they're 3 hours.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, because there's a mountain
right.
time
I
as
skipped
well,
over
right?
a mountain, so that Pacific time is 4 p.m. So they haven't even gotten to their... They're having tea at the Bungie
Right.
complex. They're going down for tea.
I mean, hopefully, I don't think they're open on Saturdays, but maybe.
Well, that kind of sucks because I picked
in.
this time so to make sure that none of the devs would be listening to us, that they would be eating dinner. But yeah. So
well,
there's the new
a Saturday night. Like,
how do you feel? How's everybody feel about the new time?
But...
Everybody feeling good about it, or?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a little different.
I feel
Well, you
better about this time. I feel like I've not feeling like I have to rush off to go do.
I'm usually a little groggier this time of day. This time of podcast.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, not quite awake.
Right.
Feeling like a little bit overwhelmed by the pressures of the things that I think I have to get done that day. But now everything's done. Like
kind of relaxed. Feel like
I can just chill.
Took care of the trash,
Destiny.
fed the cats. Everything's done for the day, pretty much. Also, we're going to a little shorter format so that we can, get on with it, so to speak. There's no more coffee emporium. That's a little sad, but we may replace that with some other sort of fun special. If anybody thinks of anything, suggestions welcome. Stay tuned for that. And we're also going to go to, for our special segments, we are going to rotate between the Mod Academy, Touch of Grimoire lore segment, and the Sounds of Destiny, or Destiny Soundcheck as we call it. We're going to rotate those. And so we are going to start today's episode will include Greenstego's Mod Academy. And our next our next episode will have Touch of Grimoire with Sally Bug, and then after that we will do the Destiny Soundcheck. So yeah, I played some Destiny today. It's been very difficult for me to get on, whether just physically being home. We've been away a lot, and of course school has started with students. So there's a lot to do there, and we've been at work a lot. And
it's been a minute.
It has. Sure. It's been tough to get on, but it was beautiful getting on today, catching up a little bit with the Season of the Lost missions, doing those things, doing the astral alignments or whatever they're called. It's kind of fun. Also,
and the Shattered Realm, which was the first we'd been in it.
Sure. And also, last night we watched some trials. We were really curious how that would play out, so we put on some of our favorite streamers and just to have a peek at what was going on there. And it seems like that's a big thumbs up. We'll talk about that in a little while. That's one of my chosen topics to get everybody's opinion on or feedback from. So, but before we do that, how has everybody else been doing in general and specifically with Destiny?
Well, been doing okay. We've also been struggling to get on like during the week.
Yes.
We unfortunately missed Iron Banner last week. It was too hard with work starting up. But
No shame in that.
Really appreciating the extra length of this season. The fall season is always like the hardest.
It is
for us.
For
to,
us,
like,
it is.
Yeah.
For us educators, for sure.
Yeah, it's always the hardest for us to get on, and so this extra period of knowing that we'll be able to catch up on
Feeling less pressure of like needing to get it, like feeling behind.
Yeah.
Yep. A little less FOMO.
We got
a little
on.
more
We
relaxed.
did actually. We got on like Sunday, right? School time, or was it Monday? No, I think it was Monday.
It was Monday.
Or it was Sunday, because I thought, oh, we should get back
Monday
on
was
Monday.
Labor Day, and we didn't have school, so we did do a little Iron Banner. Not too much.
Not too much, a few games, and then I just turned in a bunch of tokens.
Right.
Because it's like, okay, I'm
got the
clearly
armors.
not
We
going to
both
get
did
any
that.
of this. I'm not going to get any of this pinnacle gear because there's no way. I don't have the time.
We didn't
or
finish the bounties.
energy
I think I got one of the
finish
bounties done,
those.
though.
You actually did.
I
Yeah.
did. I got one of them done.
I got like to 60% on one of them, but I was like, I think I had to go grocery shopping or something. It was just like
real life.
Yeah, real life has really been taking priority, which is a bit of a shame. But there was still a lot of I'm calling it too. Like just the 5 to 8 games we played. I'm going to say at least 5 of them were I'm calling it.
About half.
So that hasn't.
right.
Yeah, that really hasn't changed. It's been about the same. I didn't notice any major difference in that, but still I mean I've been hearing through Twitter and just other avenues that some meta is starting to like shake out, but I didn't notice anything in particular that I was like, oh yep, I got killed by that again type of thing. It was like all over the map, which is great. So I was kind of happy about that.
There is another game mode in Destiny 2 now that has changed quite a bit. And that would be Trials. There's been a huge Trials revamp, and that's seems to be going over pretty darn well. Like I said, we watched some Trials runs last night. We were watching Fallout do some trials with his buddy Cammy Cakes, right? Cammy was there, and somebody else, Stadia Time, or
yeah, that sounds right. I think that's what it was. Stadia Time.
Yeah, and the 3 of them were just having a blast, and it gave me that feeling of watching Trials back in Destiny 1 when it was still fresh. Just the excitement and the calling out. It was, but yet it was different because we're 7 years on. They know the maps like the back of their hand, but somehow I feel like Bungie came up with a pretty cool recipe here, and we may be in a honeymoon period. Who knows? We'll see how it plays out with the cheating and everything. But overall, pretty impressive. I copied some tweets into the notes here that you guys can see. Cammy Cakes tweeted a summary. First thing he tweeted was reward structure A-OK, but confidence card not worth.
Did you have a slide or something to go on, or?
Oh yeah, I do. I always forget the slides. I even forgot the intro slide this time. because of the new format. I was so excited about it. Yeah, the Trials Revamp slides up now. Thank you for reminding me of that.
Oh, you're welcome.
But am I? You know, use his other Cammy's other thing that he tweeted was use solo queue to find teammates, not to go flawless. That was his advice. That's kind of a piece of advice because they have the solo queue now. Third person removal and overall sandbox plays so nice. Now, for somebody like Cammy to say that, that's got a good vote of confidence there. And then he also says Stadia can hang with console because they were playing on console and their friend was on Stadia. And he says, GG Bungie, love it, heart. I am looking forward to more improvements. So yeah.
My YouTube feed just still has a stay tuned thing up there. Is that the case?
No,
for
I
everybody else?
have updated. I have
Okay,
Trials.
I might have
live.
I have
Old
to refresh.
school Trials, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I also
I
also culled a cool guy tweet that said the one issue that he's hoping can be looked at is, and he mentions the solo queue as well. And he says if you're solo and stacked teams are being matched, stacked team will abuse it, he's predicting. They'll watch the search counter and only look for 4 out of 6 and 5 out of 6 to prey on the solo queues. And he actually follows up the criticism with a suggestion of how to fix it. Hide roster matching in the roster tab and hide evaluating guardians on screen while searching for the game. So to prevent the stacked teams from abusing the queue and
right, because I think
leaving
they
a
already
game.
I think they already put a penalty in if you left the game once it's already loaded in. But they've figured out how to circumvent that by doing the backing out
by watching the roster, right?
Before it actually got to that part. Yeah.
Right. So that's a fair criticism, and more than fair that he even gave them a suggestion for improving it. I haven't gone into Trials yet, but I feel like if Sallybug, if we could get another person to go in with us, or if I could go in with 2 people from our clan, I'm looking forward to it. I'm actually looking forward to trying it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm getting the impression, I feel like just from watching and listening to the way their reward system is set up now, that the and the sort of skill-based matchmaking, that they've figured out a way to entice the players that have 7 wins and or flawless. I think it's just 7 wins, but it may be flawless as well, that they
continue with the card.
They continue with the card because they have opportunities to start re-rolling, so just to keep on playing to get better rewards or to farm specific roles.
In other words, every win after flawless
drops
you an adept weapon or a very high chance, plus
something like
ascendant shards and other goodies.
I think that an Astrocross video said that as long as you remain flawless, it will drop flawless rewards.
Exactly.
And then once you taint the card, it will still drop 7 win rewards.
Yes.
Right.
Which is an amazing... That's raining loot.
It's more loot than Trials has ever had, I
Absolutely,
dare say.
Yes.
And so it's incentivizing those players who are skilled enough to get to that level to keep on playing, to farm those rewards. And meanwhile, someone full-time like you or I could get on and maybe win a couple matches, maybe not, but at least we know we wouldn't get matched up by like those higher end players because
Yeah.
of, especially like later on in the weekend. Like if we get on tomorrow, we've got a better chance of all of those higher end players like just still staying on their card and farming.
Well, yeah, the game knows if you've gone
those
flawless.
Materials.
Sure.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to trying it out.
Right, it's the first time. I mean, we did trials a couple of times with some clan mates just to get some specific weapons. But just like the 3-win.
Ghost says better than last season,
different.
easier to get wins. Very nice. That's good. That's encouraging.
There you go.
Then again, he was probably playing with his homies, right? Who are really good at
certainly not us.
Yeah. play with us, Ghost, and you will lose.
With you can match make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you're.
No, it seems exciting for noobs. It's never been more accessible.
Right.
Right.
That's why I wanted to talk about it, because it definitely they're opening up the game mode to more than just the sweaties, right?
Yeah, and
I think that's
giving
better.
right, definitely giving reason for people like us to get in, and not only hop in, but be the ones that hop in and not just leave after. Okay, we got our that's as far as we're going to be able to get, because the rewards, there was never any incentive to keep on playing. Right. It's like, okay, we'll never get to 5 wins. We'll never get to 3 wins. So what are we going to do? Why stay in here? Right? Because
Richard said they nearly went flawless.
Oh,
that's
wow.
amazing.
He was playing with
sure.
Pelham and Nicholas. Yeah, the brothers. Watch out for the brothers.
Congratulations! I bet they'll go flawless this season if they go at it every weekend.
They will.
Yeah.
They'll figure it out.
They might even get it this weekend. There's still time. And, the more the weekend goes on, the more chance people have to get those 7 wins and stay on their 7 win cards.
Cool.
Right,
You never know.
I'm excited about it, honestly.
Yeah.
I might even solo queue and knowing I'm going to get owned.
You might solo queue.
I might solo queue just for the fun of it. We'll see.
Well, maybe if they fix.
Yeah.
Fix what?
Fix
maybe
what?
They
just did a great revamp.
The matchmaking situation.
No,
You mean what Sammy Cakes was talking about?
Or
what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's going to be difficult to match make solo no matter
queuing
what.
would get those people who were like farming the solo queuers, and
yeah, that was cool. Guy suggested that might develop. That might be a problem.
I'm not complaining about it at all because I haven't actually played it, so
Okay.
I'm like not. I don't have.
It's never a good idea to solo queue in any game type, especially PvP, if you can avoid it. It's going to be a mess no matter what, and that's just the nature of solo queuing.
Teams will always have an advantage. The game is designed that way.
True.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yes.
As always, the game's always is better with friends.
Kind of like
the experience
kind of like pizza.
Is so much funner to share when you're sharing it. So.
Well, a shout out to our friends, our clan members who actually get our clan rewards for us consistently over in the UK, to Ghost, to Pelham, to Nicholas, and Logan. You guys are great, and thank you for keeping the XP coming into our clan when we get busy. We really appreciate that.
Keeping the dream alive.
Yeah, keeping the dream alive for us, for sure. Sally Bug, you had an interesting thing you wanted to bring up.
Oh, I just it was really interesting. I don't know if anyone else noticed, but on Bungie.net, they had an article just kind of sharing some memories, because it was the 7-year anniversary of the Destiny franchise. And they had a nice article out there, and just kind of reminiscing about when they were first introducing it at E3, and I think there were some technical difficulties, so that they have fond memories of that. I think
memories.
I think the article says it because there was like a bad HDMI cable, and the guy, was it Josh, saved that cable. Like, it's like a memento now from that experience. So it's a fun read, and I recommend it. They shared some concept art from when they were first when they solidifying the whole idea of Destiny and still fleshing it out. We have a slide of one of those concept art, don't we? I think I put
It's
it
up
in our slides.
It's up.
Yeah, okay.
It is up, and it's beautiful. You don't like it?
Yeah, I do.
I love Destiny.
I do. and I love that. I would highly recommend just taking a walk through that. Read that. It's a good read. It's fun, and the artwork is amazing. Of just kind of like what their ideas behind it, and the environments, and the Guardians as well, and so forth, and I think they put up a couple of the trailers from a few of their DLCs. I thought I would talk a little bit about mine. I think I joined. I'm trying to remember when I started, because you started before I did, Soul Time.
I played the beta, then started again shortly after Dark Below was released.
Dark Below, and I'm trying to remember. I think I started before House of Wolves started. So in between Dark Below and House of Wolves.
Dipping on those chests.
Fond memories. Fond memories.
Because I remember doing. Yeah, I remember doing the Dark Below raid, and we'd already done Vault of Glass as well.
You came on shortly after that.
Yeah, so shortly after I was encouraged to give it a try, and
to give it a whirl.
There's been no looking back since then.
I think you were there, House of Wolves.
Yeah, no.
It's been what, 7 years now?
The thing is, yes, it was the 7-year
Hard
anniversary.
to believe.
The thing is that I remember House of Wolves, and I already had a Guardian, because I remember landing in the reef, and I had already so I definitely came before House of Wolves started.
Yeah, in between Dark Below and House of Wolves.
And then then Taken King, and that's when I met Ghost.
Doing the
through a fluke. You were on
doing the raid. I was on a field trip.
You were on a field trip. You were on a school trip to
Swaziland.
Either DC or London. I don't remember which one. So I was home on my own, and I was just kind of doing
lazing
my thing
around
in Destiny, just playing.
Trying to get good. That's what you were doing back then.
Trying to get good. No, I'm sure I wasn't doing Crucible, because I did not like to do that. But, and then Richard.
Richard and Viper.
I don't think it
Pelham.
was Richard who.
It was Richard, Pelham, Viper, and somebody else.
Right. It was Richard and Pelham and Viper. Maybe Richard remembers. He's in the
and one other here. And two other people. It had to be
Viper. Right? Messaged me while I was in the tower. He sent me an Xbox message saying, "Will you help us with the raid?" And I'm like, "Trust me, you don't want me." And they were insistent, and wow.
The rest is history.
rest is.
And that is the Minions of Mortimer origin story.
And that is the episode, folks. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you same time.
So fond memories of Taken King. Taken King was a great DLC.
Yeah, they called it the Taken Spring, and it was when Destiny sort of reinvented itself in a big way for the first time.
After the Taken King came out, right?
Exactly.
One and the same.
Yeah.
I got an upgrade.
That was great. That was great. Good times.
I gotta say, so lots of fond memories of Taken King, and then I think the next Forsaken really stands out in my mind as well. It was like one of the most amazing DLCs in the Destiny franchise. So, I think I liked Taken King. But that one I have
more
like
Destiny?
like memories of like the people that I connected with from Taken King. But if I had to like pick a DLC or pick a part of the Destiny franchise that I like the most, I think Forsaken probably would be top for me. What about you guys?
Forsaken? Topsy-wopsies?
Forsaken. I'm gonna put Forsaken at the top. I mean, it could be anything.
It's hard for me to rank things. In general, I have a hard time ranking because it's so interconnected, you know?
I do too.
It is all interconnected. I agree. But what about
as much
a memory?
As Curse of Osiris gets maligned, you couldn't have Forsaken without Curse of Osiris.
I have fond memories of... Was Warmind a DLC? When we got Mars?
Yeah.
Like with
no, it wasn't
Escalation
a DLC.
Protocol?
It was a... Warmind was part... was it a DLC? Yeah, Curse of Osiris and then Warmind.
I feel like Warmind...
With Anna Bray.
Was a pivotal point for me, thinking at that point, okay, if they can do this, then we can go in any direction and good directions. And I think Warmind was a turning point for me because... Seemed like D2 after the honeymoon period really fell flat on a lot. And people were leaving because there was no more trials. And then Curse of Osiris was flat for a lot of people.
It wasn't just trials why people were leaving, to clarify. But yeah,
right.
It was a bit of a drought.
No, there was a big exodus of the old sort of Destiny 1 community that had built up. There was a big exodus of players. And so Warmind gave me personally a lot of hope, thinking all is not lost. There are some RPG elements here and some new activities that they made in a very quick time. And they were foreshadowing things to come. And so Warmind was really a big deal for me personally in giving me more confidence of where the possibilities that were going to happen, and it's all come to be. It really truly has.
Absolutely.
Forsaken just knocked it out of the park. I mean,
Forsaken, Shadowkeep was amazing.
Shadowkeep was really amazing. It was very cerebral, and a lot of people
I still haven't actually finished.
Right, Beyond
like
Light,
just like the basic Beyond Light, because there's been this. There's a lot of like me trying to catch my breath, and the fact that they've gone to this season pass, and the way the story just rolling along, and it's interconnected. And we talked a little bit about this before, at least you and I, Sultan, about just how amazing. I mean, I feel like the storytelling has always been amazing, but the way that they have presented it in a way that everyone is engaged in it. It's like I was saying to you how, gosh, it seems like every content creator I follow now is like engaged with the story and the lore, whereas there were ones that would, solely focus on like the weapons or what gear was available and that sort of things. And now it just seems like everyone has fully grabbed hold of the story and the narrative, and
Well, they're using the element that I grew up with, which before internet, and maybe Stego and Romance Girl can remember this when they were still little, that television, a television show, you couldn't binge watch anything. You would have to wait a week for the next episode of a show. And sometimes there was those cliffhangers to be continued, and you would just have to wait that week, and then you were there with your popcorn at 8 p.m. on Channel 4 or whatever it was to see the conclusion or the next installment of that series.
There are things that still air weekly.
Right, but they're really, I think Destiny's using that to great effect now.
The episodic, yeah.
Yeah, the episodic.
It's not that ancient yet. It still exists.
Yeah,
it does
TV.
still exist.
It is kind of interesting how that everything drops at once content model has been experimented with, and now our current media with Disney Plus and now Destiny, they're going back to this
it
weekly thing, and seeing how can we do both, take the best of both worlds.
Right.
Granted, I don't play a lot of other video games, but I feel like Bungie has tapped into it in the video game world. They're one of the leaders of it, and a lot of other games are starting to follow suit.
They're kind of changing what it means to be a live game.
Exactly. It's pretty cool.
Game.
It's great to be a Destiny player and see them having this kind of influence on the industry. It's an interesting development in video games, the live service game. All right.
Very innovative.
It is. What's next? I think we're going to talk about loadouts here. It's time for Paracasual loadouts. Paracasual loadouts. What's everybody been using? Have you picked something up out of the vault? Have you collected a new armor set? Anyone?
No, I mean, I was just thinking that all of these, I haven't really tapped into the artifact. I know that there's a lot. It's supposed to be the season of the fusion rifle, but I haven't unlocked any of those fancy fusion rifle mods yet. So I'm excited for that. I have played a little bit with a new one, Iota Draconis, I believe it's called.
Mm-hmm.
And liking it, actually quite a bit. I've liked fusion rifles. I prefer a fusion rifle over a, say a sniper or a shotgun, as a special weapon most of the time anyway. So, but really
nice.
For me, I mean, my loadout in terms of loadouts are that I did turn in not all of my Iron Banner tokens, but turned in a great deal of them to get a full set of this new Iron Banner armor because I like the look of it. And 3 of the 5 pieces were already stasis, and so I just took the other 2 and made them stasis, and they're all over 60 rolls, which is fine for me. I don't really farm. I make sure that it's 60 or plus to keep it, but I don't necessarily farm it has to have this particular stat. I'm not that big into the numbers and that kind of
and it shows too.
And that kind of game, right? I just play for fun. I just play for fun,
activities.
Right? It's I think those are really for high end and high level
people.
Yeah, well, or just the
well,
content.
I was
right?
using Risk Runner for a little bit while doing pre-Shattered Realm quest in the Shattered Realm itself. They're having a lot of fun. Just I happened to have it on me, so I decided to use it.
I did play a little because I finally turned in my Spoils of War. I think I finally got everything because you needed a shard too. I can't remember, but to turn in to get Teraba. So I have played with that a little bit too, which is fun.
And the Risk Runner's good because any of those auto rifles, right? Because of the anti-barrier.
Yeah, actually, no.
Yeah.
Risk Runner's an SMG.
Risk Runner's
so
SMG.
Like Teraba, right? That's why I brought Teraba up.
What's a good exotic auto rifle? You've got your
here's
hard
Sweet
light.
Business is good because we now have unlimited primary ammo.
Oh.
I just got the catalyst for Sweet Business. That was one of the ones that I farmed the catalyst for at the end of the last season.
That's one that is worth farming the catalyst for. It's actually very fun. It's one that,
And then there's Jerome's favorite, Monte Carlo.
Jerome loves that Monte Carlo.
I don't care for Monte Carlo as much.
I've never been that impressed myself.
Well, you have to like punching.
I'm not an auto rifle user, generally. So I'm one of those hoping that mid-season they're like, this season's so long, here's an extra anti-barrier mod.
I know it would be nice because it's just like when we go to they've got anti-barrier. You know what I did? I put on Lament because it's like I just don't want to do an auto rifle.
Yeah,
just really didn't. It's like I didn't mind anti-barrier scout because I like scout rifles, but and it's been fun having the unstoppable pulse because I haven't used a pulse rifle in a while. So
I know we talked about how oppressive it's been last, so I won't go too much into it, but I am definitely ready for a different anti-barrier option.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Already, and that says something.
Well, I'm still collecting Pathfinder seasonal armor, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's got to be some either triumphs or seasonal challenges that require you to do stuff with that armor on. So I'm still collecting that.
Oh, I haven't checked the seasonal challenges yet. They might.
Yeah,
it's usually
continuing that tradition.
I don't know if is it? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sometimes it's a triumph. Sometimes it's for the seal.
Sometimes it's both. Yeah. Sometimes it's a little bit of column A, column B. But as Stego mentioned before, it's a extended season, so fortunately we've got a little bit of extra
some time
to.
I like the Pathfinder gear. I'll take right now the time to say that.
I think it's great.
I just got a helmet.
Honestly, don't think I've gotten any of the Pathfinder yet. Maybe one piece. I think I've gotten mostly
deleted it if it was under 60.
No, I mean, for me, I think it's mostly it's like all my drops have just randomly been weapons. Mm-hmm. I've gotten a lot of the new weapons. I've been playing around with some of the stasis.
I thought it was I thought it was all but guaranteed at the Shattered Realm. At the end,
you get one.
That you get an armor piece.
I bet you have some and you just haven't noticed.
Maybe, yeah.
It might have been like a stat roll of 54.
Very good chance. Yeah,
just kind of like
deleted it.
She probably deleted it without looking at it.
Well, I can always just farm for it with my umbros later on if I need it.
Whoa.
You do got to focus them. You do got to focus them for that's a seasonal challenge.
Yep, there you go. So.
Yeah, Richard mentioned Taken King and Rise of Iron. You left out, Sally Bug. Rise of Iron was great.
Leave it out. I just didn't mention it.
You left it out. Not mentioning something's leaving it out, and it deserves honorable mention.
I didn't leave it out. I just didn't say it or include it in any way, which is the definition of leaving something out.
It's the definition of leaving it. I didn't intentionally leave it out. It's just like whatever.
Oh man, that's funny.
But Rise of Iron was great. Actually.
Rise of Iron was
Story.
amazing. The Iron Lords. Wow, that was so cool.
The Plaguelands.
Siva.
That was Siva, right?
Yeah.
And the
Archon's Forge.
Yeah. Well,
the whole area. I love doing patrols. We were talking about
that Wrath of the Machine, right? Because one of the mechanics in this season's activity is that you carry those batteries.
Oh yeah.
And you lose
flashbacks to Wrath.
Flashback to. I actually mentioned that because It reminded me of like when you had to carry those parts of the machine to get it into.
Because it slows you down.
Right.
And you run out of time. You get you can't
to hold it.
Do a pass off.
Yeah, so it's a little bit of a relay race. Yeah.
Right.
It's like a relay race for turtles.
It reminded me of Wrath of the Machine anyway. Like the same idea is like.
Well, I don't think this is the last we've heard of the Warmind.
I don't think so either.
Oh.
Quote Ikora Ray.
Yeah.
On something.
I'm just gonna.
Did Warmind get uploaded into a ghost? I kind of forget what happened.
No, Anna downloaded it, but it has, and there was talks of it getting uploaded, but it hasn't been dealt with yet.
Okay. Our own Grimoire Master.
Right.
She downloaded the Warmind.
I may need to pass my baton over to Romance Girl. I think
Ikora downloaded the Warmind into a 16 gigabyte SD card, right?
Oh, I thought it was a floppy disk.
5.25 inch floppy.
3x5.
Yeah.
A relic of the golden age.
A relic of the golden age of computing. Those were great. Anyway, Sally Bug, you mentioned you got the full armor set from Lord Saladin by donating
just
previous
tokens.
A previous supply of Iron Banner tokens.
I might have gotten one piece, like just as a random drop after a game.
Sure, but I did the same, and I was delighted to see that they gave you a perk that increases the value of that perk increases.
Yes, we've talked
for
about
every
that
piece
in
of
the
armor.
past,
We have, and there's not enough of that in the game. There has never been enough of that. And
I wish
there were,
and I've been saying that for years. Like, I wish
you want
there
activity
was
specific perks.
Right, that it was like, hey, if you're
and
making
rewards for
me, if there's a
doing a full armor set,
they have triumphs and challenges that just say wear the season's armor. It's like, well, if you're gonna make me wear it, give me some incentive, or give me, like, if I'm gonna sacrifice wearing an exotic piece to wear a full set, give me something in return. So it looks like they're going a little bit in that direction. They did it a little bit with the Gambit gear, but not enough, I don't think.
Yeah.
And so
well, anyway,
like too far, rather.
If
I do want to point out to our listeners that the Iron Banner full set armor perks do cap out at 4 pieces. They don't want you to skip out on the exotic piece.
Okay.
That,
so
and isn't that lovely?
The Gambit,
the way it
like
should
the
be.
Gambit armor they did.
The way it should be is just 4
yeah, with
items.
the Gambit armor, that's true. There was a workaround where you
know that there are.
but
I think what I was saying is there are there's either seasonal challenges or there are triumphs where they say wear a full set of armor, wear a full, and it's like, if you're going to do that, give me something in return, right? Give me something for that.
Yeah, because I can't.
I will say that those challenges aren't usually too excessive. It's like a couple activities with a full set of armor. So it's not that big a deal.
No, it's not. It's not, because most of them say, the more pieces you wear, the faster you progress.
Yeah,
that's all it is. So
you
put on a few things and it's fine.
Yeah.
I get it done.
I hear you.
Anyway,
I do still like the idea that they're making some like symbiotic perks for wearing matching sets.
Yeah, it's Iron Lord's Pride grants a chance to receive an enhancement prism as a reward at the end of Iron Banner matches. Each piece of armor you are wearing with this perk on it increases the chance of receiving said enhancement prism to a maximum of 4 items, like Stego pointed out. I think it's great. I love it. I like playing the fantasy, too, going into Iron Banner with a full Iron Banner loadout. That's kind of fun for me, personally, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Speaking of
loadouts, Stego, were you thinking of sharing a loadout?
Oh, sure.
Or what you've been using?
I've been using and I haven't played that much this season, but I've been using Witherhoard, Grid Skipper, Falling Guillotine. Some of the new activities have a lot of Overload and Unstoppable champions, so I got those covered with the Pulse Rifle and the Sword.
Interesting.
And Witherhoard's just a classic. You can't go wrong with Witherhoard.
Witherhoard is just does exactly that. It withers that horde right down.
It's a workhorse.
I had to be talked into using Witherhoard when we were doing the Nightfalls with our clanmate Anthro.
And you haven't taken it off
using
since.
it. That's when we started melting through the ads.
And you start realizing,
to take it off.
This thing, even without the grenade launcher mods, amazing.
It's just great for just eating up those ads.
Yep.
Yeah, it is great.
The sword's just always great when they're crowding up on you.
Yeah, I was having fun with Lament again. I hadn't pulled out Lament in a while, and I was having fun with it.
Still good.
Again,
right?
pulled it out because I didn't want to deal with the anti-barrier.
Can I take a quick Paracasual Destiny podcast host? What's the word poll? That's the word I was looking for. A poll here. I want to ask you guys what percentage of playtime do you have an exotic weapon equipped? Because I find myself a lot of times just using legendary and forgetting to. Hey, I've got some exotic options. I've got a slot open, but I'm mostly just doing legendary. I find myself most of the time, I'm going to say 80% of the time, I'm going around with legendaries in all 3 slots for weapons.
I almost always have an exotic equipped.
I used to be like you, and then nowadays I start my builds with which exotic weapon am I gonna use, and then fill out the other slots. So like I was like, okay, cryocesia, I'm at 80% for the catalyst, so that'll be my exotic.
I need to get into that habit.
Then I build around that. But sometimes it's like, Risk Runner, that would be fun right now. I'm just going to throw that on, and then I see what else do I need, and then I try to build up that. Sometimes I have to switch around everything because of the champion mods, but
bounties. Sometimes bounties that you're trying to get, right? If you're finishing a bounty.
Yeah, sometimes if I'm just trying to finish a bounty, I'll switch around with legendaries just because I know it's going to be so temporary, and I'm going to be like switching through them so quickly. But generally, if I'm going to settle in for a long session and don't want to switch around my weapons that much, I try to pick an exotic and then do a little mini build around that exotic, because I just think that the exotic weapons, especially the ones they've released in the last couple of years, are just so fun to play with. It creates a gameplay loop. That's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Honestly, Soultime, you and I both spent quite a bit of time grinding for those catalysts. You might as well take advantage of all the hard work you put in. I know. Right? It's like, okay, which are the ones that I got that, wasn't Telesto one of the ones you got the catalyst for? And I heard that's like wicked broken these days. So.
Yeah, they actually disabled it. It got disabled today.
Oh, I did see it. I was able to equip it, so I don't know.
Well, no, it got disabled in Gambit and Crucible, and also they disabled one of the mods to one of the mods.
One of what that was making it broken.
Right.
Stego, how about you as far as sporting at least one exotic in your kinetic energy or heavy slot?
I would say I'm the opposite of you. I do occasionally find myself using a full legendary loadout, probably about 20% of the time.
Well, no, that's me. Or you meant opposite romance girl.
No, I'm very infrequently use.
He says 20% of the time, maybe he's
you said 80%.
Oh, okay. You're talking about the full legendary loadout. Okay, yeah.
Full legendary loadout, only 20% of the time.
Okay, yeah, that is opposite me. I'm at like 80.
And Go says he's been using 1KV most of the time, I'm assuming.
Okay.
And probably has that
I'm hearing good
fancy
things about that.
artifact thing unlocked.
I'm wondering if anyone's tried sleeper stimulant. I'm wondering if that's
I haven't yet.
come back.
One thing I do want to say on loadouts is I have been using Arc Strider since the buff, and the buff is noticeable, and I have been enjoying that. My Arc Strider seems like a feasible super again.
Oh, I'll have to give that a try.
The slam attack actually has like an area of, like it actually has a blast radius now. It's not just like right in front of you. You can actually take out more than one enemy at a time.
Oh wow! Attack. Nice.
And
because before it just felt like this is just like a mediocre melee. Why would I bother doing this?
I would go up to a boss and use my super, and I would be just slicing him with my super, and then it would switch to my sword, and I would continue slicing, and my sword would do it felt like 300 times the damage. Ridiculous. I'm like, why wasn't I just doing this the whole time? But no, it doesn't feel like that so much anymore. They gave it a good buff. I'm enjoying the buff. Put on your Raiden Flux and have at it.
Go to town. Nice. I am definitely going to give that a go.
Right after the podcast. I wouldn't mind playing a little bit, by the way, after the pod, Sally, if you're up for it.
Yeah, I'm up for anything. That sounds like fun.
All right.
And yeah, I do. We had mentioned before that we watched Fallout plays, and I was like, what is that weapon he's got? It's just melting. I mean, he's a good player, but we figured out, I looked it up, and sure enough, he's got the Vex, and apparently it's pretty amazing.
The Vex Mythoclass. You didn't
know what the Vex Mythoclass looked like? That's so embarrassing.
I know, it's very embarrassing. Well, we are a casual. Well, I haven't gotten it, so I don't know.
Destiny 1 weapon.
I'm not sure.
She never had it.
She
never got it.
Didn't you?
There were some clan members who didn't get it until the Solstice of Heroes event.
I got it at the very end.
Yeah, I got it at the very end.
Me too.
So maybe never even bothered using it very.
It was nerfed
often,
into the ground by that point anyway.
So yeah, I was just one of those unlucky ones that just never got it. So, but watching him with it makes me want to get into the Vault of Glass and try for it. So we should do that sometime soon.
VOG, as some people refer to it as. I think it's time for our next segment. What do you think, Sally Bug?
I am ready. I'm ready to
get it
be
together
schooled.
now for Greenstego's Mod Academy. Yes, it's the Mod Academy with Greenstego. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Stego, with your Mod Academy.
All right, Guardians. Today on our Mod Academy, I'm going to try to keep the complaining down to a minimum.
Thank you.
I wanted to get it all out up front last pod. Today, I want to go over the stasis mods that you're keeping an eye out for in the wild that are dropping randomly for you. And if you just recently converted your armor pieces to stasis, this is what you can look forward to. And I also want to talk a little bit about some of my favorite seasonal artifact mods that I'm keeping an eye out for as I am upgrading my artifact. So here we go. Stasis mods. There's not too much, ever since this armor 2.5 overhaul, there's not too much that's restricted to each element. So for the helmet, there's only 1 or 2 mods that can be slotted in based on the element. The stasis one is a unique one. Super final blows generate additional orbs. These are the kind of orbs that you don't see yourself. They're just for your friends. They're just for your fire team.
And that's called power preservation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting.
There is a line of mods. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sultan.
No. I'm just the name power preservation was interesting to me.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
There is a line of mods on the arms and legs. I mean, not the legs, the class item, called Kickstart. And so on the arms, you've got grenade kickstart and melee kickstart. And so when your energy in your grenade slot, say for grenade kickstart, when that depletes, because you just used your grenade, it kickstarts your energy recovery. And so it just gives you like a solid bump of energy for your grenade. And you can double stack that to get a bigger boost of grenade energy. And the same is true for your melee kickstart mod, which also goes in the arms. So if you are looking at doing an ability-based build with your grenade or melee, and you're not using one that gives like a second charge of your grenade or melee, like an exotic, then stasis in the arms may be a good place for you to start. Maybe a good thing for you to investigate, something to check out.
And I don't believe there's like a kickstart. These are unique, right?
Correct. This is brand new.
Yeah, so you don't see like a melee kickstart or grenade kickstart in any other of the affinities, like solar, arc, or void, right?
Correct. This is brand new to stasis.
Interesting.
The chest piece has stasis damage reduction. The legs have also a new one. It's a similar-ish ability to elemental wells. It's called Orbs of Restoration. When you pick up an orb of power, just like the solar one can give you like a heal or grenade energy on an orb pickup, the arc one can give you like melee ability on an orb pickup. The stasis mod, Orbs of Restoration on the legs, gives you a small amount of energy to your whichever ability you have that has the least energy, the last one that you just used. So if you just used your grenade, then you picked up the Orb of Power, then it'll give you a grenade energy bump. And that mechanic is similar to how like elemental wells work.
Right.
They give you ability energy in whatever you got the least in.
What the lowest, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then for the class ability, the class item, they've got the class ability kickstart. So the same thing as the grenade kickstart and melee kickstart. The utility kickstart mod gives you class ability energy. So that's fun.
Have you tried these yet?
I'm still working on unlocking them. I've
Sure.
got the legs piece.
Okay.
That's it.
I'm curious what a single kickstart does. Like maybe it gives you like almost like a 20% boost, head start on refilling your energy, or maybe even more. I'm wondering. And then if you stack them, it's like 40% or something. I don't know. I'm curious to see what it is. This could be really good, especially if you pair it with the right exotic, right?
If you pair it with the right exotic, if you pair it with some combat mods, that like if you're going with like a grenade build, you could probably have like basically unlimited grenade energy.
Yeah. Cool.
You really could.
Yeah. Love it.
And the class item also has one more, because class item you also have like finisher mods.
Right.
I don't expect many of our listeners to experiment with these, but it's basically, it takes that leg mod perk of giving you like a little bit of energy, ability energy, and it tacks it onto your finisher. So it gives ability energy to whichever one has the least energy when you finish, but at the cost of super energy. So it's like, why would I want a little bump of grenade energy at the cost of super energy? Like, I don't know. I don't know where they were thinking with that.
I have a problem with that too. I can't bring myself to make the sacrifice.
I think the finisher mods need like another Passover. I think there needs to be something besides like super energy to get a bump, but I don't know what that would be. I'm not here to theory craft. There's a reason Bungie hasn't hired me to make ideas for them. I'm just here
because you haven't put your resume in yet.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the stasis mods. The big ones to look out for are the kickstart ones in the arms and the class. I think if you're going with like an ability-based build, stasis arms, stasis class is like where it's at. And we'll take a look at we've got some more elemental well mods coming up, which we've seen cycling through. I haven't been able to really purchase any of them, but starting next week, we should start to see new stasis elemental well mods coming through. So for the next, my next mod academy, I'll talk about that.
Nice.
But for right now, I want to talk about the seasonal mods, y'all. Greenstego's Mod Academy Part 2. This artifact this season focuses on like solar and stasis abilities, and there's like a sub focus on melee abilities. So this season they're giving melee ability builds like a little bit of love.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like obviously a bunch of mods here that have to do with like weapons. We got like fusion rifle loader and shotguns ammo finder. Those we don't need to talk about those. If you got like a shotgun build and you want to use less energy on these, then obviously go for those. But the more unique ones that I'm keeping my eye out for, and there's like a few, but I'm going to try to give it just like a bite-sized chunk right now. Got my eye on Thermoclastic Strike. This is the tier 4 one, and it adds overload. It stuns overload champions to either your solar or your stasis melee ability. So I like that.
I like it too.
I was complaining about the champion situation.
Sure.
This is a nice way to bypass that.
Sure.
It doesn't go in the arm slot. It goes in the class item slot. So that's nice. There's also Withering Heat. And there's like a hidden perk to this. It says solar abilities weaken champions, but like hidden. It's for some reason it's not written, but it stuns unstoppable champions. And this is any solar ability. So if you got your solar melee or your solar grenade ready to go, you can stop unstoppables.
Frees up some weapon choices.
Frees up a little bit of weapon choice.
I like it.
Another one that has caught it drew everybody's eye is particle deconstruction. I'm certain that our clanmate Richard has this paired with his 1kV. Does a bunch of damage. It's like what was it even called last season with the grenade launcher buff? Can't even remember now.
Sallybug used it all the time. Turns your enemies purple.
Anyway.
Anyone in chat know?
It's back from last season with the grenade launcher.
Oh. Yeah, I can't remember.
We may get a comment in the chat here, but anyway, it's basically back, but it's a little bit nerfed. It's for fusion rifles, and it only buffs damage from other fusion rifles. So that's kind of why people are talking about this is this season of the fusion rifle because of this mod, particle deconstruction in the final tier. Obviously very powerful. You don't need to have everybody with it to take advantage of it. If your partner right next to you has like a regular special fusion rifle, then they can put one blast into the enemy with this mod equipped, and all the bolts will stack up the damage buff onto that enemy. And so not everybody needs it. I would recommend, if you're going for like a legendary linear fusion rifle, you're going with a linear fusion rifle for your damage perks, for your DPS phase, I would not recommend that you be the one who's using particle deconstruction, because it stacks. It's like it stacks up to, what is it, 5 times?
Yeah, 5 times it says.
So you need to hit them 5 times to get the full effects of this mod. Which, if you're using just like a regular fusion rifle or 1KV, then you'll get that in one shot because of the way that the weapon works. But with a linear fusion rifle, you got to shoot them 5 times.
So that would be like the Lorentz driver. You would have to pull off five of them. Yes.
Exactly that.
By the way, that mod was called Breach and Clear.
Breach and Clear.
Right.
And Clear. Yes, it was. Breach and Clear was a little bit more powerful because it enhanced damage from all sources.
Oh, so yeah. Like once you breached them, you could do anything. But
yeah, you could swap to your heavy and then go to town with your sword or your grenade launcher.
And now I'm going to just like again show that I don't know anything about this game. I don't know why I'm even on this podcast, but
what is the category?
What is the category of the Vex Mythoclast?
It's fusion rifle.
It's a fusion rifle. It's not linear fusion.
It's not linear. Is it linear fusion?
No.
Okay, just a fusion.
Even though it's like shoots like an auto rifle or a linear fusion rifle, it's classed as a fusion rifle. It's just a little bit exotic.
Yeah.
You might say.
And rare. All right. Well, yeah, good to know. But yeah, it doesn't sound like with that one that there's any linear fusion that would really.
Well, still, like if you and
Sultime
Time were like duo queuing, and Sultime had particle deconstruction, and he had 1KV, and you had threaded needle, he could, with his fusion rifle, get all this damage stacks up, and then your threaded needle in one firing, and then your threaded needle would do like the maximum bonus damage.
That'd be
so
great.
he can still help you.
Right.
Linear fusion rifles are not out of the game. They can still be a part of damage phases. Threaded needle is still a fantastic way to go for like boss DPS this season.
Good to know.
Wow, gosh, I haven't used my threaded needle in ages. All right.
And the last one I want to talk about is focusing lens. This is we've talked about it before because it's been it's a recurring mod. We've seen it before. Just wanted to reiterate. I was reminded on YouTube just a couple days ago, but focusing lens. Your light abilities do bonus damage to combatants affected by stasis. So obviously, what comes to mind with this is like your buddy puts a Duskfield grenade on the boss, and then you put on Celestial Nighthawk and you like one-shot that boss.
Wow.
But focusing lens counts if you are standing in a well of radiance.
So
Weapon
you can
damage.
Use anything.
You can use anything. You can use 1KV with particle deconstruction and stand in a well of radiance, and that counts as light ability damage.
And it stacks with particle deconstruction. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Serious DPS
I think
time.
now we really are ready for Vault of Glass. Oh, well,
Yeah.
we have to unlock these first.
Yeah, we got to unlock these first, but basically you want to have like a a stasis hunter.
Gotcha.
Throw their super.
Silence and Squall.
Silence and Squall, and then that hunter can then stand in the focusing lens in the Well of Radiance. And if they have focusing lens, then even though they're on a darkness subclass, their weapons are being augmented by the Well of Radiance. Their weapon damage counts as a light ability, even though they're on a stasis subclass.
And using a weapon. All right. Well, I get it. I get it now, and that sounds like a lot of fun.
So the final column, there's all those mods change that. All those mods look great, but those are the two to get: particle deconstruction and focusing lens.
Right.
I wonder if that was by design or if that's just a fluke. That Well of Radiance.
It's the same way it worked last time. They didn't change it.
So they didn't change it. So
well, that's good.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, good little secret utility there to take advantage of, for sure.
Yeah. Good to know.
All right.
Richard says particle deconstruction is better than breach and clear.
Better than last season's breach and clear. Well,
there you have it.
Yeah, there we have it.
This just in.
This just in. Unlocked that that artifact.
Us casual players need to kind of get our axe and get our butts in gear.
Get our what is it? A compass? Is that what it's called? The compass. The artifact. Get it unlocked.
Yes.
Get it all unlocked.
Wayfinder's compass.
Wayfinder's compass needs to get unlocked. Sallybug, you hear it?
And make sure you're getting the seasonal challenges too. That allows you're leveling up the vendor so that you can buy those elemental well mods that are
That's
on
right. Those
right.
along the bottom there. Yep, from the vendor. Alrighty. Okay, another great Mod Academy installment. Thank you so much, Greenstego, for volunteering to go first in this new format where we're going to be rotating our special segment. So next 2 weeks from now, we will have Sallybug with her Touch of Grimoire, which is our lore segment, and I'm looking forward to that. The idea is to keep the quality up along with our sanity, and so we'll see how it goes.
Right.
I think we're ready for our final segment here today.
Non-Destiny media consumption.
We're going to do our non-Destiny media consumption. What have you all been doing outside of Destiny? And more importantly, what would you like to tell our listeners about that, or each other, that might be that we might be interested in? Sallybug, what you been consuming?
Wow, not much. In addition to not having time for Destiny, just haven't had a whole lot of time for much media consumption in general.
Facts.
But I have been kind of picked back up, gotten excited about soccer, aka football, and actually tuned into the men's national team in their World Cup qualifying match against...
We should say the U.S. men's national team.
Yeah, the
U.S.
U.S.
being American
men's
and all.
team.
Yes.
Watched the game against Costa Rica. I am very bummed that I missed the one against Honduras, because that seemed like an amazing game. But
a miraculous one.
It was on it. It started at 10:30, and it was a work night. There was no way that was going to happen.
Yeah.
But we were able to read some tweets by Men in Blazers to give us kind of a lowdown of it, and check in with our son who watched the whole thing and get his take. But so been watchhed that game and watching.
We should mention these are World Cup qualifiers, right?
I did say that, didn't I?
Maybe.
And as well as some Premier League football, watching our team Everton
do
their typical
Mid-table dance.
Mid-table dance, exactly. But hey, it's fun, and
It is
I'm glad
fun.
that the Premier League is back, and that
and there's an audience now. That's
nice
so
to
nice.
see people in the stands.
Oh my gosh, the singing and it's great. So good.
So I mean, that's pretty much most of what I've been able to make time for, like just weekend sports.
Yep. Well, I recently discovered Tubi. I think I mentioned it on the last non-Destiny media consumption segment. But Tubi has a lot of free stuff, and I like their commercials format. Their ads are all clumped together, either at the beginning or at a logical break in the programming. And so much better than watching something on YouTube, in my opinion. I discovered that they have a lot of the original Hal Roach Our Gang shorts, which were shorts involving little 15-minute stories involving Our Gang, which was a group of child actors back in the 1930s. I think it started in the 20s and went into the 30s. Some started off silent and then went into the talkie era of film, and they were repackaged and syndicated on television, I think in the 60s, as Little Rascals. So they were kind of repackaged, and that's what they have on Tubi. And I just watched one series, and it was colorized, which I had never seen before, and I have seriously mixed feelings about that. I don't know. It's kind of a curiosity to me, but I spend a lot of time wondering how they, do it rather than just sitting back and enjoying the programming. Anyway, that's what I managed to squeeze in outside of work and other life obligations. Stego, romance, anything?
We have just recently played through the original Psychonauts.
Great game.
Fantastic
so much fun.
Game. It's been years since I played it. I didn't remember quite a bit of it. The one that I did remember the most of was the Milkman conspiracy level. The roads are twisty turny, very like
Sally Bug got a little seasick on that, if I remember right.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't do that one.
You do. It gives you motion
I had to
sickness.
do it. I had to do that one.
I
Sally Bug couldn't do
it.
Yep. We were like passing the controller back and forth, but I tried to give her the controller and she said, no, absolutely not.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Same thing happened to us.
Same thing happened to us. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, I had never played it before, and since Psychonauts 2, a very long awaited. This is an original Xbox game, and now, many years later, we're finally getting Psychonauts 2, so I thought it'd be fun to actually play through the original. I remember y'all playing it a little, and so I've seen it secondhand a couple times, but I wanted to give it a full playthrough on my own, with Greenstego. And we had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
cool.
Actually, I would say that the very end was very difficult, and I had less fun through my frustration.
Yeah, it is. It's hard. It's really hard. Yeah.
If you think back to the original Xbox, though, that's still a time when just like there's still a lot of like camera angle frustration.
Sure.
Yeah.
Still like early 3D platformer stuff.
It was all new.
So I remember it being so picky of where you jumped off from, or
especially for those they were trying to do the 3D platforming thing.
Yeah, or that those times when you're like on platforms and there's something chasing you and you have to run away from it, but the camera angle doesn't catch up to it, and it's just like
you didn't even know that it was like hot on your heels.
Right.
But Psychonauts and Psychonauts 2 are both on Game Pass, Xbox Game Pass. So
good to know.
I'm excited to give. I'm going to give 2. We're going to start it tonight.
Oh,
Psychonauts
good.
2.
That's exciting.
Something to look into as well.
Yeah, we've been following the production for it for a little while. Double Fine has posted some development videos on their YouTube. That's been fun to watch every now and again.
Yeah.
Double Fine is one of the indie game studios that Microsoft purchased.
Mm-hmm.
But
run by Tim Schafer.
Mm-hmm.
Neat.
Fans of like Tim Burton films will enjoy Psychonauts.
Yes,
Gotcha.
absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
It's got that aesthetic to it. It's really good stuff. I'm looking forward to playing 2 myself, for sure.
And Romance Girl, you started another game too.
Oh, just today I started Hades because it is also available on Xbox Game Pass now. And we own it on Nintendo Switch, which is where Greenstego played it. But I was on Game Pass, just browsing. So we installed it and I decided to just start it. And it is a lot of fun. This is my first time playing a game like Hades, like a roguelite is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
But so, I'm enjoying it so far.
What type of game is it?
It's called a roguelite. It's you kind of just go through different rooms of enemies and you're switching between like dashing and slashing.
Okay.
Is the best I can describe it. And there's, different types of enemies and different types of traps in the rooms that you're avoiding and navigating. And the idea of Hades is that you're escaping the underworld. You're Hades' son, escaping the underworld, and you kind of try to go through as many chambers as possible before you die, and then you get sent back to the beginning, and you start over again. And you just, as you die, I put it on God mode. So as I die, not only do I get more upgrades and more weapons, I also get more powerful because I'm here mostly for the story. I'm not trying to prove anything to anyone.
Right.
So I appreciate
our
that a mode like that
Richard
exists.
says Hades is fun as hell, literally. So.
Yes, that's a good tagline.
Yeah.
Richard actually reminds me a lot of the main character Zagreus because he has a lot of like dry humor and they share accents. So
nice.
Mostly it's the humor though.
They both have that West Midlands British accent.
It's great voice acting, great character art, great environment art.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
And also,
you're making me want to play it now. So
perfectly designed it so you can just jump in and play for 5-10 minutes, or you can do a full hour-long session. It's very accessible to just play.
Cool.
Just start slashing enemies.
Should be playable pretty well on like the phone too.
Yeah, I believe they do have a cloud version.
Yeah, it's the kind of game that, well, honestly, it's like a little dangerously addicting. There were more than one occasion over the summer when I was playing Hades until like the wee hours of the night. We don't need to get into details.
On your Switch, right? Yeah.
Yeah, on the Switch.
Sweet.
And yeah, the voice acting really can't be oversold. Cassia was playing on with headphones, so I couldn't hear. But when I saw the text, I saw the dialogue, I saw who was saying it, I could hear their voice just so clearly. Hypnos is such an annoying, obnoxious little guy. He's the first one you talk to after you die, and the way that the lines are delivered, it's amazing.
I guess this is a Hades podcast now.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's coming on.
Listen, if you like the intense storytelling of Destiny, if you like the environmental storytelling of Destiny.
It needs an anime adaptation. Well, Blood of Zeus isn't far off from telling a similar story. But yes, it is. The art style is very cool.
I played Hades before we watched Blood of Zeus, and I feel like I got to know the gods of Olympus and Greek mythology a lot better than I ever had before, and I feel like it gave me like a deeper appreciation of Blood of Zeus when we did get around to it. I'm interested for.
What are the other games that this company has made?
Bastion is a big one.
I've heard of that one.
What is Bastion?
No, what is the company?
Oh, Supergiant
Games.
Right.
Supergiant Games.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
They also
Getting
made
into those indie
Transistor
games.
And,
cool. Transistor, right, was another big one.
Mm-hmm. And there's another one that I haven't played. It's like Fire something. I don't know. I'd have to look it up. Anyway.
Bastion and Transistor were the ones I was remembering.
Mm-hmm.
All right. All right. I think we're approaching the end of this podcast for sure.
All right, then.
All right. At this time, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in and showing up to this little podcast of ours. Shout out to Richard. As always, thanks for chiming in. Join us live on YouTube every other Saturday at 7 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Listen to the archived audio anywhere you get your podcasts. Like and subscribe to us on Twitter at ParacasualP. So until next time, it's goodbye from all of us here at the Paracasual Destiny Podcast. Goodbye, everybody. Bye, Sally Bug.
Farewell.
Bye, Greenstego. Bye, Romance Girl.
Bye, everyone who tuned in.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Bungie.
Whoa.
Bye, Bungie devs.